Hello, welcome once again, gentle folks, to another week for your NFL weekly game picks and predictions and betting tips. Yeah, hope you had a wonderful week last week and you got some great results. Well, for this week, as usual, we're going to start with Thursday Night Football and we're going to come straight into it. And we're going to start with the Eagles versus the Texans, Houston Texans. And for this game, our predictions are I'm expecting the Eagles to win. And in terms of a spread, I'm going to go with minus 10.5 for the Eagles. And in terms of total points, I'm going to say here that we should have under 44.5 points. Now seeing that here, so I'm going to go with under 45.5 points. Alright, so recapping predictions for Eagles versus Texans. I'm expecting the Eagles to win, and in terms of a spread, I'm going with minus 10.5 for the Eagles, and in terms of total points, I am going here on the 44 and the 45.5 points. Alright, so those are my predictions for the Eagles versus the Texans, and that's where that game is at for me. And now we're going to move to the next game, and the next game is the Chargers versus the Falcons. And for that game now, I'm expecting the Chargers to take care of business here. Mind that the Falcons could come out and surprise them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons beat them, but I'm going to go with the Chargers here to win. Chargers to win in terms of a spread, I'm going with plus 2.5 for the Chargers. And in terms of total points, I'm saying here that we're going to have under 48.5 points. Alright, so we're going to have under 48.5 points for this game, I believe. Recapping predictions for your Chargers versus Falcons game, I'm expecting the Chargers to win. In terms of a spread, I'm taking the Chargers at plus 2.5, and in terms of total points, I'm saying here we're going to have under 48.5 points. Alright, so those are my predictions for the Chargers versus the Falcons. And now we're on to the Dolphins versus the Bears, and there should be an interesting matchup. I do think it's I feel like the Bears are going to come out here and win this one, but I can't count the Dolphins out. But anyways, I'm going with the Bears to win here. Bears to win. And in terms of spread, I'm going to take the Bears at plus 2.5. And in terms of total points, I'm looking here at over 45.5 points, I believe. So again, I'm not here, so I'm going to go with over 44.5 points in this game. Alright, so recapping predictions for Dolphins versus the Bears, I'm expecting the Bears to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going with the Bears at plus 2.5, and in terms of total points, I'm saying over 44.5 points for this game here, Bears versus Dolphins. Alright, and so we'll move on from that game onto the Panthers versus the Bengals. Panthers versus Bengals here. Remember, we're in week 9 of the NFL, and some teams, the trade deadline was, I think, was yesterday. Yeah, so some teams have some new toys to play with, and some that as a result, some teams would have gotten better over the period, while others would have fallen back somewhat. Alright, so for this game now, I am expecting the Panthers here to challenge Bengals, but not enough to beat them. So I'm giving the Bengals here to win. In terms of spread, I'm going to go with Bengals at minus 6.5, and in terms of total points, I'm going to go here. We should have over 42.5 points, I do believe. Right now, I'm going to see now, so I'm going to go with over 43.5 points. Alright, so recapping predictions for Panthers versus Bengals, I'm expecting Bengals to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going with minus 6.5 for the Bengals, and in terms of total points, I am going here with over 43.5 points for this game. Alright, Panthers versus Bengals. And from this game, we move on to Packers versus the Lions. The Packers, they have been having some rough times. Number of the players, key players, are out injured, so hopefully they have some better news at the end of the week, and so some of those players can come back and can have better results. Alright, but for this game, I'm going to go with the Panthers. It's going to be tricky in a sense. I think the scores are going to be close, but I'm giving the Panthers the edge here. So I'm going to take the Panthers at minus 3.5. Well, in terms of spread, in terms of total points, I am going to be going here. I'm going to say we should have over 44.5 points in this game. Alright, so recapping predictions for Packers versus the Lions. I'm expecting the Packers to win. And in terms of a spread, I am looking here at minus 3.5. And also, in terms of total points, I'm saying that we're going to have over 44.5 points in this game. Alright, so those are my predictions for the Packers versus the Lions. And then we're moving on to Raiders versus the Jaguars. And this, dare I say, this is anybody's game. The Jaguars seem to have fallen off a bit. The Raiders were shut out last week, but I expect them to bounce back this week. And as a result, I've taken the Raiders to win here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars come through and beat them though, because they have been playing that well this season. Alright then, so the Raiders to win in terms of a spread, I'm going to go with minus 1.5 for the Raiders. And in terms of total points, I'm looking here and I'm looking at 44.5 points in this game, over 44.5 points in this game. So recapping predictions for Raiders versus the Jaguars, I'm expecting the Raiders to win, taking the Raiders also at minus 1.5 on the spread. And in terms of total points, I'm seeing here we're going to have over 44.5 points. Alright, so those are my predictions for the Raiders versus Jaguars. And from that game, we're going to move on to the Colts versus the Patriots. Alright, Colts versus the Patriots. So the Colts versus the Patriots now. This one interesting somewhat, but I do expect New England to continue to do good, great stuff at home, and so as a result, I'm going to take New England Patriots to win. And in terms of a spread, I'm going to take New England at minus 2.5. You can find it here, yeah, minus 2.5. In terms of total points, yeah, I'm going to say here we should have over 39.5 points. Alright, so recapping predictions for the Colts versus the Patriots, I'm expecting the Patriots to win. In terms of a spread, I'm taking the Patriots at minus 2.5, and in terms of total points, I'm saying we should have over 39.5 points in this game. Alright, and so we'll move on from this game to our next game, and our next game is the Bills versus the Jets. The Jets seem to be going a little bit backwards, but I expect them to pick up the slack coming Sunday, and so it should be a tough game for the Bills. But however, I'm still expecting the Bills to win, but I'm expecting the Jets to challenge them right to the wire. The Bills to win, and in terms of a spread, I'm going at minus 7.5 Bills. And in terms of total points, I'm going to say here we should have over 44.5 points. Alright, we should have over 44.5 points in this game, I do believe. And recapping predictions for Bills versus Jets, I'm expecting the Bills to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going with the Bills at minus 7.5. Total points are over 44.5 points. Alright, for this game. Okay, so those are my predictions for the Bills versus the Jets. And now we're skiddly on over to the Vikings versus the Commanders. And so the Vikings have a few injury concerns, so does the Commanders, but this should be an interesting matchup. And dare I say again, this is anybody's game, I believe, but the Vikings, they're in pole position to win here, but I do believe, based on the injuries, and if those guys still remain on the injury list coming Sunday, then the Commanders could be in with a shot. And so, so hence the reason why I'm considering the Commanders. But as I said, yeah, I'm going to at the moment, I'm going to go with the Vikings to win. And in terms of a spread, I'm going to go ahead minus 3.5. And in terms of total points, I'm seeing here that we should have over 43.5 points. Yes. So recapping my predictions for this particular game, Vikings versus Commanders, I'm expecting the Vikings to win. Taking the Vikings in terms of spread, 3.5, minus 3.5 that is. And in terms of total points, we should have over 43.5 points, I do believe. Alright, so let's move on to our next game, and our next game is the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. And for the Seahawks versus the Cardinals, I'm expecting this one should be a very interesting matchup. It should be a tough one. Anybody's game. This is definitely anybody's game, but I guess what, the Seahawks have been playing some good ball there. The Cardinals seem to have been finding them way back. They're way back, but they slipped up a bit in the last game, and so therefore it's going to be a really interesting matchup coming this Sunday. Alright, And as a result, I'm going to go with the Seahawks to win. Seahawks to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going to go with Seahawks at plus 1.5. And in terms of total points, I do believe we should have over 47.5 points in this game. Alright, so recapping predictions for Seahawks versus the Cardinals. Expecting the Seahawks to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going with Seahawks at plus 1.5. And in terms of total points, I'm saying we should have over 47.5 points in this game. Alright, so those are my predictions for the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. And now we'll skedaddle on over to our next game. And our next game is the Rams versus the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers having a torrid time, and if they need to stay in good contention, for the playoffs, then they need to start winning as of this Sunday. Alright, so for this game against the Rams, it should be an interesting one. And the Rams haven't been playing their best football this season either, and so as a result, both teams will be faced with a challenge. I mean, they have similar records in terms of wins and losses, but both teams definitely need to start winning here. So let's get straight into predictions. For me, I'm going to go with the Bucs to handle business here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams come out and manage to beat them. The Bucs here business. And in terms of a spread, I'm going to go with the Bucs at minus 2.5. And in terms of total points, I'm going to say here we should have over 42.5 points, I do believe. Alright, and so let me just recap my predictions for the Rams versus the Bucs. Expecting the Bucs to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going to take Bucs at minus 2.5. In terms of total points, we should have over 42.5 points for this game. Alright, and so let's move on to our next game. And our next game is the Titans versus the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, that they have gotten some players in the, I think they got one good player in the trade, yeah, maybe more than one, but a really good guy in the trade. And so let's see how that works out for them in the coming weeks. But Titans versus the Chiefs, predictions. I'm expecting the Chiefs to win. Here. And in terms of the Chiefs to win, and then we're going to take here, in terms of a spread, I'm going to take the Chiefs minus 7.5. And in terms of total points, then we should have over 44.5 points in this game, I do believe. Alright, and so therefore, in terms of my predictions for the Chiefs versus the Titans, I'm expecting the Chiefs to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going to take the Chiefs at minus 7.5. And in terms of total points, we should have over 44.5 points for this game. Alright, so let's jump into our next game. And our next game is the Monday night game, which is the Ravens versus the Saints. And this should be an interesting matchup. I think this is going to be anybody's game, but for me, I'm going to go with the Ravens to win here. And in terms of a spread, I'm going to go with the Ravens at plus 2.5. In terms of total points, I believe we should have over 47.5 points in this game. Let's see here. Yes, we should have over 47.5 points in this game. So recapping predictions for Ravens versus the Saints, I'm expecting the Ravens to win. In terms of a spread, I'm going to take the Ravens at plus 2.5. And in terms of total points, I'm going to go with over 47.5 points in this game. Alright, so those are my predictions for your NFL games for this coming game week, and I hope that you took your notes. And as usual, I wish you happy betting and ensure that you put your best bets on the right slip by put everything on the right ones that we don't have. Some of the times you have bets and you have them in separate slips, you know what I mean, and that's unfortunate, yeah. And so is another thing I always encourage you not to put no more than 3 or 5 predictions per slip, yeah. And so that way it works out better for you, yeah. So that's all I have for you for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and continue to watch my videos, and ensure that you subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell as well, so that as soon as I send out these videos you can get them